So once again, welcome. And we're so glad that you're here today. We know that the major disruptions caused by COVID-19 are impacting food businesses all around our state and throughout the country. The Michigan Good Food Fund team, we want you to know that we're here to help. And in this webinar, our presenters will share with us some strategies and tips for sustaining your business throughout this difficult time. But before we introduce our speakers, I just want to share a little bit more about the Michigan Good Food Fund. And again, please know that we are recording this session, so if you want to share it with anybody else afterwards, please do, or reach out to me to get the link. And if working from home right now means what it means for me is that you might have others in your screen, whether it's a pet or a person. We understand that we are all juggling and living in this new world right now. So we are all doing the best that we can do. With the Michigan Good Food Fund, we are a mission-driven program. So our goal is to try to get healthy and affordable foods into all of our communities throughout our state. We look to food businesses who are providing healthy food access, creating jobs, and helping our economy, doing so with a racial and social equity lens, are sourcing local, and considering the environment in their business. We couldn't do this without a partnership. So the folks that you see listed on the screen are either lenders or technical assistance providers like Jean and myself. And we work directly with the food businesses all the way from the farm all the way to the retailer. And we provide one-on-one coaching, technical assistance, business support through workshops, boot camps, networking events, and help folks try to become what we call more loan ready. So looking at your business financials and trying to connect you with funding. So before we get started, I want to share a poll, try to find out who's on the call. So if you can see a screen right now and you're not just on a phone, could you please select what type of food business that you own, or maybe you work for an organization that supports businesses. Okay, fantastic. So it looks like the majority of people on this call are working to support food businesses, which is awesome. Isn't that great? We have so many resources in our state to help. And then next in line, I see product makers. So sometimes we call you processors or makers of different food items. We also have some restaurants, some retail grocers, and some caterers, a little bit of everything, incubator kitchens, and even farmers. All right. So next we'd like to introduce our speakers today, and I will let Jean do the introductions.
Yeah, well, great. Well, thanks everyone. I know, as Jamie mentioned, these times are really causing, and I hear kitties, everyone to be taking a closer look at their businesses and how you're going to be operating and sustaining over the next few months. And so we're very thrilled to be joined by a team of experts from JPG Resources who today we'll be sharing some helpful strategies and tips about how you can be sustaining your business. For those of you who don't know, JPG Resources is based in Battle Creek, Michigan. And it was founded back in 2009 by a Kellogg executive, Jeff Grogg. And they advise brands on product development. And they work with all kinds of businesses ranging from startups to global companies. So I'm so happy to introduce you to our panel this afternoon. Please welcome Veronica Lehman. She is the founder of Pure Organic. That is an organic snack business that she launched in 2006 that was inspired by her 6-year-old vegetarian daughter. Pure Organic achieved national distribution, and in 2016, it was sold to Kellogg and was underneath the Kashi family brand, and Veronica worked very hard to transition that brand and its growth, and she now works as a business consultant for JPG, specializing in startup growth and healthy, viable businesses. So welcome, Veronica. And next up, Yes, next up, I'd like to introduce Alex Puglia. He is a global supply chain lead at JPG Resources, and he's really helping to launch a new project there to help become the operational arm of any organization, any company, or fulfill any gaps that companies might experience in the supply chain. But he's been in the supply chain for quite some time. He started his career in the organic sugar business in Brazil as a sales manager. And there he also led the development of a large farming operation that was focused on reforestation and grains production and its export business. So welcome, Alex. And then finally, we have Missy Lapine. Missy is a food product innovator and nutrition consultant for JPG Resources. She helps brands do product innovation and ideation, new business launch and expansion, and provides insight and guidance on nutrition-driven products. She is a New York Times best-selling cookbook author of the Sneaky Chef series. She's also a certified integrative nutrition health coach and has a thriving business in New York City. And in addition to her 7 cookbooks, Missy is also the founder of Sneaky Chef Foods, a company committed to making America's favorite foods healthier and safer. Thank you all so very much for joining us today, and I'm going to turn it over to you all to take it over.
Thank you, Jean, and thank you and welcome to everybody that's here today. We really appreciate you taking the time today to join us. And really today, we come to you as colleagues and friends, as well as experts who've been through this before. These uncertain times are affecting all of us. They are affecting our business from day to day too. So, hopefully today, since we've been through this before and we've got some experience under our belt, we can help you navigate it. It can be scary, it can be challenging and confusing, but it can also be a time for learning and strengthening and getting better and finding the opportunities. So what we did as a team was we put together kind of 4 high-level strategies to talk through today, and understanding that everybody has their different pain points, and we really want to get into specifics. So we'll go through kind of those top 4 strategies, and then we'll open it up for questions and see if we can speak to some more details that you all are experiencing. So the first, I'm going to share my screen here. And by the way, there's a much more detailed version of this presentation that is going to be sent to you after the presentation today. So you'll have all this information. So the first of our 4 points is to gather your knowledge. Knowledge is definitely power. And I know as an entrepreneur who launched my company a year and a half before the first recession, it's not a fun task to go through and to project worst case scenarios and potential negative impacts. But it is a very, very important task to be able to project the impact that these changes are going to have on your business. And so project the impact on your finances, project the impact on your inventory, on your ingredients, on your customer base. Be aware of any supply changes for your ingredients and packaging. It's always a good idea as you grow to have multiple relationships with ingredient suppliers and with manufacturing. So that might be something to start to consider and look into. And then forecast out various scenarios, best case scenarios, worst case scenarios, and in between, so that you really understand and know what's happening out in the market and how it's affecting your business. Alex, do you want to talk a little about cash flow and managing and projecting that?
Sure. Well, in the situations, we're always going to hear people saying cash is king, and that's totally what I believe. We should be doing our projections. We should be looking into what's going to happen in the next 2 days, in the next 2 weeks, and then in the next 2 months. The biggest thing on crisis management is plan as you can, but act as quick as you can on what you can do today. So we see a lot of help that's going to come from the government that may be in 2 or 3 weeks. And so we need to look into our business and see what are the things that we can negotiate right now to make cash quick. And that may be renegotiating loans that you have. That may be talking to suppliers. Everybody's in the same boat right now. But there's a lot of different things that you can do right now to bring some cash back. And the other side of the equation is try to sell as much as you can of the product that you know you're going to be paid. Be careful to not sell things that you're not going to be paid or that you can't produce. Like Veronica said in the beginning, look into your supply chain, especially your ingredients. Look to produce and to sell what you have and what's going to give you profit and cash right away.
Thank you. That's great. That's great advice. Missy, do you have anything to add here?
Yes, coming from the culinary side of the world and nutrition and product development, I think that it's, as Alex said, it's a great time to look at what you have and shift our perspectives, pivot just a little. If it's kind of like I do, where I'm telling people, if look in your pantry, see what you have, we can make something out of it. What is the current supplier saying they have a lot of? What is, who you already have a relationship with? What is the current contract manufacturer they can make? Sorry, there's a plane going overhead. Look at those two things. So what can I make, and what ingredients do I have, and what do the people need, right? So we all have to shift a little bit our perspective as to this new world and say, okay, maybe it's not the best time for, selling luxury goods. Maybe we shift and say, how do we turn that luxury good into a necessity? For example, General Motors, it's not a great time to be selling luxury cars, but it's a great time to be in the ventilator business. That's an extreme example, but we can bring that back to food and say necessities, things that, longer shelf life, things that are running low. I don't know, but it depends on your supply. If I have only dry goods and I have beans in my pantry, guess what? I can turn those beans into a living sprout tomorrow. Just saying. If I run out of fresh food, I'm going to sprout my beans, sprout my lentils. So let's sprout together, if that makes sense.
I love that analogy. Great. Thanks, you guys. Okay, so knowledge is power. Gather all the knowledge that you can. Oh, let's see here. Sorry.
Veronica, do you want people to ask questions in between or wait till the end? We do have one question.
Our 4 points, maybe, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Okay, great. Please feel free to type your questions into the question and answer box or into the chat, either one.
Thank you, great. So the second kind of high level strategy is to utilize your resources. So as Alex alluded to, there's a lot of resources coming down the pipeline. There's a lot of resources right now for small businesses. Take some time and educate yourself on those. When we send this paper out after the presentation, there's links you can see there to some state and federal grants that are available to small businesses through Michigan Department of Agriculture, through the SBA federal programs. There's also many local seed funds that you can research in your area. Grand Rapids has one, Holland has one. Look and do some research on those seed funds that could help you. now is a great time to connect with your peers, other small businesses, to strategize together. Utilize your friends, your family, and the network that you've built. Now is not a time to be shy to ask for help. And also reach out to experts in your field for help and advice, kind of what we're doing today. Also, LinkedIn Learning has been a great resource for me personally. When there are questions I have about business that I'm looking to learn or educate myself on. So that could be a great resource for you. I know that yesterday we talked internally a little bit about the CARES Act, which will hopefully be passed and become live here soon. That has some really great forgivable loan opportunities and grant opportunities for small businesses especially. So make sure that you utilize the resources that are available to you, and look to your network and peers for help. Alex or Missy, do you have anything to add to the resources?
Hi, I would add to that it's a time to ask. So I'm pretty shy, which is surprising from New York, in terms of asking for help or expecting something out of the ordinary. But guess what? Who knows what? You just ask for forgiveness or delay in payment on something, a courtesy, let's call it. We're not desperate, but it's a great time to extend courtesies to each other. And so whether or not you can take advantage of the CARE SBA loan, which is brilliant, and I would definitely look at that. We talked a lot about that yesterday. If you ever applied for an SBA loan before and didn't get it, you're going to get it now. They're going to be forgiven as well. So look at that. But ask for courtesies. That's all. Even if you think, there's no way my co-packer is going to extend me 90 days instead of 30. Well, they will. They damn well will. And they're happy to have you ask. So don't be afraid. Don't be shy, like we are in New York.
Yeah.
That's it. Alex?
Resources are available. I would say there's so many of these sign-up letters that you can sign up right now. My email is I'm trying to become an expert on everything and all parts of this. So I see the emails coming in all the time now. And, I can't read all of them, but at least you got to have a good perspective from every other, not only the food business market, but every other part of the market where you can get good information. Yeah, I mean, maybe Paul K just sent this question. I think it's pertinent to just answer with what I was going to say. And it's just what Missy said. It's not the time to email people. It's the time to connect. It's the time to, use your phone. I'm not even using my phone. I'm just sending people my Zoom link all the time when I have to talk to anyone, just looking in everybody else's eye to eye. And so Paul is asking, how hard should I push? You have to push as hard as you can. If you could be there talking to him, you should go there talk. You can't, so keep pushing. When I deal with super high power problems that I used to deal in Brazil, bureaucracy, my role, my gain was always, I don't want to be the favorite person. I just want to be the one in top of the list. So sometimes if you are there every day, you can get 2 days of production as opposed to who's not there just sending emails. So my advice is right now is the time for calls, time for relationships, the time for talking to people as much as you can, building relationships.
Yes, that's a good segue because that's one of our points. Thank you.
I was going to add one more thing for the restaurant people, if I may. what I'm seeing a lot of, even distributors now are selling to consumers. It's like someone asked me to go in on a minimum order quantity for a small distributor here in New York that normally sells to restaurants, high end. And that's a brilliant way to pivot for the small distributor, because he's not really selling the restaurants now, but we would love delivery at home. So for example, okay, it's obvious if you're a restaurant person, start delivering to people at home, but there may be a way to even aggregate that more and more cleverly, like this small distributor did. And then I've got 3 friends. Yeah, we'll all split a minimum order quantity. And now this distributor has like a new source of revenue.
Yeah, that's great. And again, like a great pivot into our next topic. So the third kind of high level strategy is to adjust. You're going to most likely have to change the way you do business, especially in the short term. I would say be thoughtful and not reactionary. This is not going to be forever. So think about it in terms of short-term adjustments and long-term adjustments. We know that food service is down right now, but it's not going to be down forever. So you don't want to lose those relationships and those connections and your initiatives for the back half of the year in food service. But right now, if you can, it's time to adjust in certain ways where you can actually sell and make money during these times. One of the greatest advantages you all have as small businesses is the ability to adjust quickly, to make decisions quickly, to be nimble and flexible. It's a big advantage. And you guys are entrepreneurs. You're used to thinking outside of the box and you're used to thinking creatively. So now's the time to do that. Adjust your product offering. Is there a way to service people better through different products at this time? Adjust your customer focus. Where can you find the customers who are buying right now? And how can you capture some of that? Perfect and expand your online presence. I know this has been a common theme with a lot of people, but now is the time to really build awareness online. And if you've been wanting to grow your business online and look into e-commerce, now is definitely the time to start doing that. Not necessarily having to focus on a company like Amazon, which is huge, but some of those smaller vendors like Thrive Market, if you have a shelf-stable product or can make a shelf-stable product, now might be the great time to look into that. As Missy was just talking about, if there's a way for you to implement or expand or change your delivery services, now is the time to look at that. And lastly, can you buy in bulk? There's a lot of companies out there that are looking to ramp up during these uncertain times. So they may be giving discounts. You might be able to find some good deals. Are there places where you can buy in bulk? Are there discounts that you can take care of? So think about it, like I said, long-term versus short-term. And use your advantage as a small company to adjust to the changing market right now.
Veronica, if I can add to that a little bit real quick, since we have a lot of service providers on the line today, I saw a majority, 53% or something. A great example here is someone I know who's a service provider and was just starting an online business. Didn't have any customers signed up for it yet. So she was an all in-person business and started online. And guess what? She gave away, because it's scalable, it didn't cost her anything to have as many giveaways as she wanted to, of a webinar type thing. Very, very, very valuable webinar, right? So I won't go into the business, but I'm just gonna say it's analogous to what we do here. Give something away. Guess how many people she has signed up for her online service now, because they came in for free, cost her nothing. 100,000 new customers. 100,000 by giving away something free, and it costs her the same thing as giving one away, because it's scaled. So think about being generous. People will remember generosity now, but it also obviously is a way to build your database. Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's great. Great advice. Alex?
No, I was just thinking planting the right seeds. That's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be harvest.
Yeah, plant the seeds now that you can harvest later. Okay, lastly, our last point here, which we've already talked about a little bit, now is the time to build relationships. These are uncertain times for everyone. Everybody is in this together. So it's time to make sure you're communicating openly and honestly and regularly with your customers, with your suppliers, with your consumers, with your employees, if you have employees, with your lenders, if you have lenders, other people in your network, and also be a listening ear because they are experiencing the same changes. And it's good to connect and come together in uncertain times and build those relationships. Those will serve you well going forward. And also to kind of add on to what Missy was just saying, be a helper. Is there a way that you can, in this changing climate, donate, use your business to help others? Obviously, that could create some really positive press. There's a lot of examples we've seen even here in Michigan of pizza companies or restaurants that have been shut down but are still making boxed lunches for school-aged children. And donating, and it's creating a tremendous amount of press and support for those companies that are doing that. So if there's a way to donate, if there's a way to create a giving page or to participate in other acts of charity through your business, this is a great time to do that. And it could be very positive also for your business. Additional comments there before we go into questions? I think we covered a lot of it already. So like I said earlier, you guys will all get this one pager with kind of those 4 top line strategies and advice. And now we can open it up for questions. Jean, I also have the list of questions you sent earlier. So let me know if we want to start with the audience, if we want to move into those, we're open to that.
Well, Jamie, I think we have a couple from the audience, and then maybe we can throw in some of the questions that we have teed up for you, Veronica.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Alex, Missy, and Veronica for sharing your wealth of knowledge. We really appreciate it. I'm going to read off the questions in order the way that they came in to me. There's some in the chat and there's some in the Q&A, which the panelists can also view if you'd like. Paul K. from Cultured Love says, "Hi, Veronica. It's Paul. As a small maker dependent upon a co-manufacturer where our impact is small compared to their primary business, how can I best keep on their radar when they are even less focused on our well-being and schedules due to their focus on COVID-19 related issues affecting their primary business? How hard do I push?"
Yeah, I mean, Alex addressed a little bit of this earlier. I think that's a great question, and I think it is good to be a little bit of the squeaky wheel and keep that relationship going. You know, the small producers like yourself are very important. Brands and often easier to deal with than the bigger producers. So I would definitely look at the advantages that you have. Show them where you're growing. I mean, you have a shelf-stable product right now. I would expect that, you know, you might be seeing some growth in retail. Continue to show them your plan for growth, you know, as you go forward. And also, I would not be shy if you need help, and if you need, you know, some extra days to pay a run, or if you need to slow your runs down a little bit or whatever. I think that people are very willing to come together and help, and especially as a small business, I feel like co-mans like to support small businesses, and especially knowing your product, which is an amazing fermentation product. I think those great food products also lend themselves to a lot of support. So that's my advice. Alex, Missy, you want to add into that?
I already said too much on this one, but I would just add that, co-man relationships normally without any crisis is already a problem. And here in this side, you have to look at and put yourself in their shoes. So come up with solutions already. Think about the solutions to present to them before you go to them. You know, if you have 3 skills and one is easier to make, just ask for, can I run this one for 2 hours? Or so be patient and be helping them to help you, if I can say it that way.
Yeah, I think Alex said it really well. On a good day, co-packer relationships are difficult with us small guys, right? We're like, the squeaky wheel, and we're, so don't be too squeaky, Paul, but figure out a way to finesse the relationship. Always start the conversation asking about them and how can you help them, even if there's no possible way you can help them. Like, I don't know, offer to come in and run the stuff with them. And that's obviously probably not feasible now, but who knows what. On a nutritional note, thumbs up on Cultured right now. There's no better immune system builder than gut health and gut love. So yeah, push, because we all need to build our immune systems, and that's where it all starts. So you were ahead of the game.
Thank you, and thanks for the question, Paul. Our next question, and I'm going to give product plugs because we all need this right now, right? So our next question comes from Valanda Anderson. She owns a company called Sweet Potato Delights. Check her out online. Her question is, how do you manage or shift loss of sales from wholesale restaurant accounts?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, Alex, I don't know if you want to jump in here, but like we said before, is there any opportunity for you to distribute direct to your local natural food stores? That's what I would say first. I think around here, like a Harvest Health that has 3 stores. Is your product shelf stable, or is it, I don't quite understand. I want to make sure I'm understanding the product.
She has a refrigerated products.
Okay.
And you can go ahead if you want to explain it.
Oh, so Valanda, I'll speak for you. It's a sweet potato hummus. It's refrigerated, and I believe that shelf life. I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, Valanda. It's probably 3 to 5 days. It's a fresh product, so shelf life is not a couple weeks out. It's a couple days out. I hope I got that right.
Valanda, I'm going to unmute you. You can share more. I think I can do that. If you're at a place where you can talk.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful. Okay. So shelf life on the hummus is 21 day. Shelf life on the cheesecake is 30 to 45 day, 45 if they use the freezer. Those are the 2 products that are retailing in the store. I appreciate the opportunity to share that.
Do you live in an area where they have stores? Sorry, Veronica.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering, because, for example, in this small town that I'm in right now, like the local food store is letting 4 people in at a time, and there's always a line 6 feet apart outside the health food store. I know this is going to sound so small potatoes, no pun intended, but if there were, I don't know, maybe they'd let you distribute outside the store to people online waiting to get in. Is that a thought? Like your own little private farmers market type thing? Really grassroots, but to build every single person you touch out there you would become a fan.
Well, that's a thought that you don't have because you don't ask, so I can always ask.
Yeah, I would definitely focus local. See what opportunities are local for your retailers. I don't know how many you're in already, but anybody that's smaller and takes direct, direct distribution, your mom and pop stores, all of your natural food stores, even local will often sell local brands. I would even contact them to see if you can pivot sales to their refrigerator. I would myself online and I don't know if you have any kids. I have a 17-year-old son. I would make him drive hummus around to people that bought it from me. I think just being really scrappy and being, aware of what you can do locally, what you can do online, and who you can sell to, direct to consumer, and direct to whatever retailers you can sell to.
Thank you.
Yes, I would add, make a little plan. The best idea, of course, is to talk to your local supermarkets or co-ops. I know they have space in their shelves now. There's no eggs. You never find, there's a lot of refrigerated space right now. They wouldn't mind to have something there. So if you can get connected with some of those, you put your products there. As shelf life starts to go down, you can sell it for a little cheaper. And in the last 3 or 4 days, you can give it away. And so people take it home and use it and know about you. Make sure you have your phone number or your website there, though.
I mean, honestly, I'd stand outside your local hospital and give it to the ER workers from a safe distance, of course. Just start giving it away, or like do something generous and it will come back to tenfold.
Great idea.
But Alex is right. There's plenty of open space, shelf space in the fridge or freezer section of local. Go local. Really go local.
Those are great ideas. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And good to hear your voice, Melinda. The next person with a question is Amit. He owns a company named Feast in Detroit and also has his own food product. One is called Poplets and the other one is Bee Leaf. So I'll let him talk and he can ask his question. Amit, you should be able to speak now.
You're on mute, Amit.
It looks like you have to unmute yourself if you're able. And if technology doesn't work, we can switch over and if you could type your question. Keep trying and I'll go to the next question. The next question comes from Kendra Wills. She's one of my colleagues at the MSU Product Center. She works in the Grand Rapids area. And her question is, some product makers that I work with are considering setting up a 501c3 organization so people can donate to them. You all mentioned charitable donations. Do you recommend they set up a 501c3?
I'll defer that. I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not a legal expert on the 501c3. I don't know what it would entail to set yourself up as one. I think, obviously going forward, you would have to be not for profit. I would almost think, a GoFundMe page with your friends and family or, another strategy like that would be a better way to raise money right now as a small business in this climate. If you've got a great product, and people believe in your business, you can really get some great support that way. I would look into that before I would change the whole nature of my business.
I would jump in right now and probably say the same thing. There's a lot to establishing a 501c3, and as you think about what the future implications of that might be in terms of finding funding streams, that does get kind of complicated. And I think what I've been seeing and hearing is things like GoFundMe pages are actually taking off right now. So if you have a good product and you have a good following, people are eager to support small and local businesses in any way possible. And so if that's an avenue for you, I'd say, you know, that could be one way that customers or potential customers could contribute to what you're doing. So I just wanted to add that.
And there are several Kickstarter
And just
funding.
to add on to that, sorry.
Go ahead, Missy.
I'm just going to add on to that with regard to like a GoFundMe. If you want to seem less kind of self-serving, maybe it could be help me to buy ingredients in order to give the product away to local healthcare workers. I don't know, just a thought. Instead of just help me, you know? So you want to like get enough ingredient supply and add in a little margin for yourself that you can then create product to then give away. That's what.
The one thing I was going to say is there's a lot of crowdfunding and Kickstarter platforms that are available for food businesses, food and beverage businesses. If you go to the MSU Center for Regional Food Systems website where I work, I put together a document that includes some of those. So if you have somebody who's good at technology or you're good at technology and you can set up a crowdfunding platform, that might be another strategy right now. Okay. We have a question from Ernest, and I'm going to try to allow him to talk. Ernest, if you're still on, you should be able to speak now.
Hello?
Hello, we can hear you, but it's pretty quiet.
Okay. My question is with regard to being able to get loan to support increasing business. We supply a substantial portion of our businesses for is for food banks. So hello?
Yep, we can still hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I stopped. My concern is that we've explored SBA. Our bank has increased our line by over $1 million. But based upon the business explosion of business that we're getting from food banks, we probably need an additional 4 or 5 million. And you know, I've been reading about how the Senate and now the House, I see, just passed the funding, but I have no idea as to where to go to get that funding. We're not in a disaster level. We can repay the loan, whatever amount it is. Just, you know, we'll sell to the food banks, and we're very competitive in terms of pricing, very high quality. We supply them with pasta and oatmeal and cake mixes and macaroni and cheese. We produce over 300 items. I have over 100 employees, and we're not laying anybody off. In fact, we're actually hiring. We're encouraging them to bring in their spouses to handle the additional work. So need some direction in terms of finding more funding sources or how to access the funding that is allegedly going to be available through the government programs.
Sure, and I know Jean and I would be willing to talk about that. I just added this funding sources for food-related businesses. It's a document that includes grants, which may not be very timely right now, crowdfunding, Kickstarters, and then loans. And then a week from today, Jean and I are hosting another webinar to talk about ways you can look at your cash flow, prioritizing things you're putting money into right now, as well as different types of loans and grants that are coming available. Feel free to
And
reach
then-
out to us. Go ahead.
On the one pager that you'll get, also the federal link will bring you to the SBA page that has additional links for all sorts of grants and funding. So you can kind of explore that page. And it sounds like your problem is you're ramping up really quickly right now, and so you need funding to support that, and that's what they like to fund. so I feel like you could find some funding if it's to support a growing business.
And where would I find that one?
I'm going to send you a document after the webinar's over. It'll come into your
Oh,
email. And
thank
then
you
if
very
you
much.
go into the chat box right now that's a part of the webinar, you should be able to see some of the links that we're talking about and sharing.
Okay, terrific.
And
We'll
I can
also,
email you afterwards too. Go ahead,
we'll
Jean.
also post this to the Michigan Good Food Fund resources page as well. So it'll be posted there once we're done.
Yeah, I forgot to mention, we're a Michigan-based company. We occupy about 200,000 square feet of production and distribution in the town of Monroe, Michigan.
Great. What's your business name?
Can I be heard?
Bectrum Foods.
Say it one more time.
Bectrum, Bektrom Foods.
Okay, great. Spectrum Foods.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks.
Can you guys hear me?
We sure
I
can.
hear somebody, yes.
So this is Lincoln Crocker. I'm a consultant with the Small Business Development Center. I just put into the chat box a bunch of resources, the CDC, the World Health Organization, but also if you're looking to where you want to apply for either the SBA or the MEDC programs, there's links in there for both of those as well. And there's also links in there for the family FMLA extension and also the unemployment extension. So I just put links for every single one of those things into the chat box.
Thank you so much. I'm going to go on to our next question. This comes from Glenn. A couple people put in the chat, they were wondering about the loan forgiveness that was mentioned. Could somebody readdress that?
I can try. Let's see. The rules are not clear yet. And we're talking about just the CARES Act that just came out yesterday. So the quick answer is yes. Most of those loans are supposed to be forgiven or become a grant. But somehow you're gonna have to show them how you spent the money. So it's not like you can do whatever you want with the money and then they're not gonna charge you anything. The rules are not yet set up, but they will be through SDA and maybe through the bank. A lot of those are gonna come through the regular banks, a lot of those funds. And so the banks are gonna have to work on their regulations and how they're gonna ask you the amount of money that you use and how did you use it. So again, it's still beginning. We know there's a lot of money there. We know they will be giving it to people just like the ones we're talking about, the ones that don't wanna send people away, the ones that are growing and can be better when this is over. But yes, they will be forgiven, but there are going to be some scrutiny about it.
Yeah, one thing you can do, yesterday we had a guy named Greg Wank from Anshin, A-N-C-H-I-N, in New York. Anshin has a big food and beverage business. Maybe you guys can post their link, but anyway, they'll probably be posting a bunch of information on it for small business owners like ourselves. Greg Wank at Anshin, I know he knows his stuff. He's not going to obviously take every phone call, but they'll probably be posting all the prerequisites and such on their site called, I think, anshin.com.
Great, thank you. And as
Or
fast
any
as
big accounting
resources
system,
and
Google.
emails are coming across our emails right now, Jean and I are trying to upload them to a page on the Good Food Fund site too. So I put that link also in the chat box. And I can share that afterwards too. Sorry, Missy.
No worries. I just think like if you just did CARE Act or whatever it's called, the new, it's called like unofficially the new SBA loan. But if you just put that in the Google search with like a big accounting firm or Anshin or Markham or any of the big accounting firms, they probably have a whole page already written out for you.
I'm going to just interrupt because Lincoln, you mentioned you put resources in the chat box, but I don't think we're seeing it. So if you're still listening, might you paste it again?
Oh, maybe I didn't finish it. Once you put it in, do you have to hit anything?
Usually there's hit enter or, oh, some people can see it. Maybe it's just a few of us that can't see it. So Lincoln, we might, if we all can't see it here, we might connect with you afterward to make sure that we see your links and we can share it with everybody as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, great idea. All right, I have another question specifically on a product. The business is listed as Galaxy Tab A. It says, I'm a loose leaf tea manufacturer of custom blends. I've been selling online on my website and at vegan events and farmers markets. I just had started supplying to stores. Now there is a pause on that. Events are either canceled or will be. Do you have any ideas for me to push online sales? We have a pretty long shelf life.
I would say without knowing and understanding what your social media program is, definitely social media is right now the best way to push sales online. Facebook and Instagram, which have merged, allow you to become extremely targeted in your ads for not a lot of money. So what we used to do with Pure Organic, we sold energy bars, we would geo-target the regions that we knew were extremely high selling for us. We would target the demographic, the age group, the organic shoppers at Costco. I mean, we would get so granular down to who we wanted to target. And that way we kept our costs low and we kept our return on investment high and drove all that traffic to the website. I would say for your web store, if you're selling online, make sure that it is simple and user friendly. And if there's any way to, maximize user experience right now by, creating a better process with your online store, now would be a great time to do that. But those would be my suggestions. I would also encourage you to, if you don't sell through other vendors, encourage you to look at like Thrive Market. And even start to educate yourself on becoming a seller through Amazon. Both of those markets also have really great ways to target individual customers that they know from their data will be interested in your product.
So Veronica, if I could just jump in real quick, you all have mentioned online sales quite a few times, but if I'm an entrepreneur and I've never sold anything on my website, and maybe I have a very simple website, and maybe so far I've been selling my product at farmers markets and maybe at one or two independents, and I don't have the wherewithal to know how to set up an online store. Do you have any thoughts or tips for those that, don't have that infrastructure yet?
I'll tell you, Shopify is about as simple as it can get, right? Shopify sites, they're turnkey. Even Squarespace has a sales thing. So those two are so much simpler than they were in years past. Check out Shopify or Squarespace.
Thank you. They let you do credit card processing, right? They have a mechanism to make that all happen so that you don't have to figure it out. True?
Absolutely. Yep. They've made it really easy. Yeah. And can I just say on the tea thing, I can't help myself because this is how I think food wise. Put out a blog on calming teas. Make a blend up that's the most calming blend you can think of. You know, we're all freaking out. We're all like highly anxious. I would go for calming. I don't know, some fun things that you could combine with like a blog post or put it out there.
That's a great idea. We could all use a little calm. Okay, it looks like we've got 4 minutes left and we have 4 questions. So here we go. Parker Jones, he's one of the innovation counselors for the Product Center up in the Upper Peninsula. He asks, you all noted that food businesses should shift from luxury to economic or necessity. What does this mean for a small food entrepreneur who has only a few shelf-stable products? Should they change their product itself at this point, or what other steps do you suggest?
I know Veronica has a better understanding than I do, but I would say I've just heard this phrase from a trader, and he says the virus is a lot more patient than the market. You know, and I think we need to be a little patient. We need to understand that this is going to pass. Every time we had a huge fall like this in the past, as quick as it became, it also went away quicker than anything else. This is not structural, this is not financial, this is not fundamental. So chances are that you know, it's going to be we're going to see it through sooner than later. So I would say we need to look what's going to be happening in the other side. You can't just go and change everything because of the next 2 months. You got to keep thinking what you have been thinking. You got to keep using the same strategies that you have been using, and they will work again in the new world, in the new environment we're going to be seeing in the future.
Yeah, I would say look for opportunity. If you have an opportunity to service people better and to produce something that they're buying more of, then jump on that. But to echo Alex, don't change your whole strategy. Don't lose sight of, you know, the back half of the year when things may be back to normal. We don't know.
And I do hear that.
And that said,
right now is, you know, if you can't sell, don't lose it. Just give it away and show people that you're doing that. Use that as your marketing. Use that to create relationships. Don't let it go waste.
agreed. And maybe just kind of think about updating all the stuff we are buying if it fits into your product mix. You know, the better shelf stable product. The updated.
Okay, great. I'm sorry we've run out of time for the rest of the questions. If you want to connect with me or Jean, please do. And we can hopefully, Veronica, Missy, and Alex will help us answer any of these questions via email. Is that okay?
Yeah, my email address is on the bottom of the one-pager. So feel free to email me with additional questions or follow-up as well.
And Jamie,
Okay.
do you wanna put our email addresses somewhere visible as well?
Yep, absolutely. And I will follow up with an email to all of the participants and send you the one-pager, these links that Lincoln so kindly shared, and some of the links that I've been sharing in the chat box too. And please mark your calendars for next Friday, April 3rd, 1 o'clock. We're calling this, How Do I Make It Work Now? And we're gonna look at, help you look at your financials and try to make some decisions for your business during this time.
Yep.
And please follow us on Facebook, where a lot of the information, there's tons of resources right now and free webinars and free trainings that often cost money, and they're free to us now. So please join us. And thank you for attending, and thank you so much to our speakers for being here for during this difficult time.
Good luck, everyone.
Good
Reach out
luck.
if you need.
Be safe.
Good luck.
Thank you.